Most of my prep time for every game session is spent on making the world believable. I want to create an experience the players can truly immerse themselves in. And there are plenty of ways to do that. Today, we will take another look at story hubs, the narrative nerve center of our campaigns. This is the second video in a two-part series I'm doing about story hubs. In the previous episode, we made a list of essential steps for story hub creation. And in this video, we're going to build on that and make them a lot more interesting to explore. Next week, I'm going to host a live stream here on YouTube where we can build a story hub together. More on that at the end of this video, but for now, let's get started. What's up, Butterflums? My name is Aviad and I make videos to help game masters craft the best experience they can. Today we're doing it with story hubs. Again. In the last video I left you with a question. What would make our story hubs more interesting to explore? To me, it all boils down to the information the party can learn as they interact with the world, and the way the world changes as they interact with it. If you've seen Zip Around Disney's video about the exploration pillar, this statement will probably sound pretty familiar to you. And if you haven't, I'll put a link up here so you can check it out later. To give each of these subjects the attention it deserves, we'll divide today's video in two. The first part will feature tips regarding information the characters can learn from interaction with their surroundings, and the second will contain a few ideas you can use to create a dynamic, evolving story hub. To make an interesting story hub, we should think about how we relay the information we have for it. There's always more than one way to achieve that, but as a rule of thumb, the worst way is through an info dump. Few people enjoy a wall of text, and most do not recall information from them that well. Presentation is key. It's almost as important as what the information is. So when we create our story hub and we want to make it feel unique, we should ask ourselves not only what it is that makes it unique, but how can we make it apparent during a game session? So for the purposes of our discussion today, we will not focus on the information that you choose to present, but instead the methods we can use to present it. If you want to learn more about how to world build the story hub, I've made a video about settlement creation, filled with questions, methods, ideas and pointers that you can use for inspiration. In the first part of this series, we discussed ways to present plot hooks and make the characters care about them. We can take the same idea and adjust it, but instead of presenting plot hooks, we can relay information about the setting. We can do that with an NPC either by having them say it literally in a conversation, or by embodying it. For example, if the characters encounter an investigator that presents themselves as a seeker, it informs the players that such a faction exists. By asking the NPC about his title, or perhaps after succeeding in a skill check, they can learn more about the Seekers of Ayun, a religious order that seeks to uncover corruption and recover lost knowledge from ancient forgotten places. We can use the same trick with locations. We can weave in more details in our descriptions if we want to present facts about our world. When the characters reach the town square, they see a large stone statue of an elderly wizard holding a staff and a scroll. It appears ancient, much of the detail has worn off due to winds and rain. Nearby, a young man walks to the statue, climbs its base, and begins to clean it from bird droppings. Would you like to know more about the statue? That was the point of this description, to make it more intriguing to explore. And when the players ask about it, or send their characters to inspect it, we can share the lore we have about it, or make something up on the spot. Rumors are another great method to present the group with more information. As the characters sit and rest in the tavern, they overhear a local group talk about the new lavish manor that the mayor had built for her family, hinting they are uncertain where the funding for this massive home had come from. Rumors have an interesting quality to them. They are inherently very subjective, and are often misleading or lacking. A rumor can be a straight up lie, or a hidden truth, but the players will take it with a grain of salt either way. And if they don't, it would surely make for an interesting story. Another great method to present information is through items the characters find. An object can tell a story, sometimes literally if it's a book or diary, and its context can tell us a lot about it as well. How did it get there? How old is it? Where is it from originally? Through these answers we can tell the players about the world, and drive them to explore more of it. This works especially well for items that feel out of place. If a character finds a lost heirloom in a dried up well, they might be encouraged to discover more about it. Maybe after asking around, they realize this necklace they found belonged to an old ruler of this area, and it might be worth a lot of gold for some people. In the last video we talked about story hooks and how to use NPCs and points of interest to present them. But when I think about it, a story hook is no different from any other piece of information we have about our world. So there's nothing stopping us from using items or rumors to pull the players into a storyline we have planned as well. When I think about a story hub, I like to think of it as a stage upon which the players are going to act. The players have full agency over their characters, but as GMs, we represent and control every other aspect of the game. With that power, we can create situations or events that make our story hub more interesting to explore. For example, the town square on an average day is very different from the town square where there's an execution going on. In essence, it is the same location, but this event gives the players something to work with, a moment to experience and react to. It makes our story hub more dynamic and gives us more tools to respond to whatever the characters attempt to do. You can tie an event to a storyline you have planned, but you don't have to. An event can be added only as flavor, a means to make the world feel more authentic. And who knows, maybe the players will take it as an opportunity to do something crazy. And why shouldn't they? It could make for a great story. This is where the improv aspect of GMing kicks in. The back and forth between the players and the GM is what makes this game so unique and satisfying. Events give us a strong baseline to improvise around, and a powerful incentive for the players to act. In the Dungeon Master's Guide there's a list of urban encounters, which capture the same idea fairly well. On page 114 there's a list of ideas such as witnessing a shady transaction, an announcement on a street corner, running into a brawl, and many others, so you should check it out if you're in need for some inspiration. Preparing for sessions with events in mind really changed the way I GM. I use events to portray consequences of characters' choices, to change the pace of sleepy sessions, and keep the characters engaged even if they already visited every single location in the hub. Working with events can really help us create the feeling that there's always more to explore. So how do we go about making them? Events can be tied to a location, like the execution example, but they can also be tied to specific NPCs, like a duel between two rivals. Maybe the characters met each of the NPCs on a different occasion, but now they encounter the two of them together in the middle of a shouting match, threatening to kill each other as the crowd gathers around them. Where that happens is slightly less important for this example. Naturally, events are a good way for the world to resolve conflict and tension. So if your world has two opposing factions, think about their rivalry and how you can represent it with an incident. Special occasions and holidays can be events as well. Maybe it's that time of the year and there's a carnival in town, everything is colorful, people are drinking in celebration, and for a silver coin the characters can enter a contest to prove who can really drink the most. Next week on this date and time I'll host a live stream where we build a story hub together. That's crazy. I'm really excited to see which crazy ideas you'll bring up, and if you want to receive a notification when that happens, smash that subscribe button with your mage hand. Until next time friends, remember that you are awesome, keep being awesome, and I'll see you beyond the screen.